Spoiler warning, obviously. There are a lot of amazing moments in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Mantis taming the Abelisks, the Beastie Boys bloodbath, and just everything about Rocket's past and the way it's paid off in the climax. But one part takes the cake, and that's the ending. I don't mean the actual ending sequence, the Florence and the Machine, the catharsis, the dancing, the long-awaited goodbyes, the long-awaited hellos. I mean the fact that it ends, really ends. The story of the Guardians, these Guardians at least, is over, definitively. We'll probably see a few faces pop up again sometime in the future. Rocket, Peter, maybe Phyla, definitely Adam Warlock, but the story, the group, the found family, the idea that started back in 2014, that's over. And I'm thrilled. Not because I don't like these films, but because I do. Let me explain. The MCU has built one of the most successful franchises of all time, and it's done so with comic book movies, and that's a term we throw around so much that it's easy to take for granted. It's easy to discuss these comic book movies without consciously thinking about this specific medium, but let's. For the sake of brevity, I'll be generalizing a little, but I think most of you will agree with the broad strokes. So, comic book movies are nothing new, and fundamentally, all the term connotes is a feature film inspired in some way by characters or stories originating in comic books. But the past decade and a half has seen a new age of comic book movies, with the Fox, Marvel Studios, and DC universes being the most prominent attempts at interconnected franchises, built around a connectivity beyond sequels, prequels, the odd spin-off, a connectivity creating the illusion of whole worlds, galaxies even. From this period onward, the comic book movie begun to connote something more than a standard movie adapting something with pictures instead of just words. The core impulse of these franchises, particularly the MCU and DCEU, was to build out expansive settings, to push further and further outward, latching together different places, people, periods, tones, an attempt to cinematically recreate that shared universe that had existed within and defined their comic book empires for decades already. The main thing, to me at least, that separates this modern age of comic book movies from the Reeves Supermans, the Steeles, the Keaton Batmans, is the attempt to capture not just the narrative, the characters, or the aesthetics of the books, but to translate its unique formal features, the things that differentiate comic books, or at least superhero comic books, the main ones being, first, that interconnectivity, and second, the way they don't end. You know, originally I did write out a whole section evidencing and expanding on this, but I'm now realizing you all know what I mean already, right? There's always more story. Characters can always come back. They're not limited by what film series they're in, or by their own stories wrapping up, or even by who's playing them. So the balance of comic book to movie seems to have shifted some, and to a lot of fans, to a lot of money-hungry studio heads also, this shift felt like a no-brainer. Why should our stories ever have to end? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 answers that question. This is a film that really ends, and which ends its series, and I don't just mean narratively. If Guardians 1 was man versus man, and Guardians 2 was man versus his father, this is man versus God, or the lack thereof. But, you know, I do mean narratively also. All the dangling plot threads are tied up, or rather tied together in meaningful ways, and every character we've come to care about gets to finish a journey in ways that just ring so true. Star-Lord stops running, stops papering over his wounds, faces them, learns to swim. Mantis, who can tell what people are feeling, finally figures out what she feels. Drax's fatherhood was stripped away from him by Ronan and Thanos, and replaced by vengeance, destruction. But here, finally, Drax the Destroyer gives way to the original, to Drax the Father. Gamora finds a family, but it's a different Gamora, so it's a different family. Nebula, who'd been torn down and rebuilt against her wishes, had her own image taken from her, now gets to be the builder. And Rocket? Those flashes of leadership we'd seen in the first 2 volumes, that fiercely kind underbelly he's always tried to hide, cover up with snark, after seeing his past, after seeing he was a leader all along, the film's close sees him take over command of the New Guardians. And this character arc's conclusion might be the best of all. It feels obvious, it feels earned, it feels right. And none of that's hard to see. It's all spelled out very clearly by the film. For better or for worse, and honestly, I think for better, there's not much subtlety to any of the character beats here. That isn't to say there's nothing below the film's surface. I think there's some really fascinating stuff to dig into with the High Evolutionary, Rocket, and Warlock. Maybe I'll make a video on that sometime. But the film wants you to know where our characters end up, why they end up there, and that these are ends. Look, making a video talking about the fact that a final film is final, that a trilogy concluding film concludes, might seem boring and unnecessary, but in the MCU that's all rarer than you'd think. And I think Guardians Volume 3 is in some ways a first. This is a trilogy that took nearly 10 years to get done. It's the one that this universe's interconnectivity screwed with the most. It's the one that studio politics almost derailed. Again and again, Gunn, the cast, and everyone else were reminded by Marvel, by the universe, by the relentless passage of time, that the sky might be forever, but the Guardians franchise, this set of characters, even the MCU isn't, could not, and should not be. This is a comic book movie, but it's a comic book movie. It isn't striving for that endlessness. It embraces its own finite nature. It takes an infectiously sincere joy in giving everyone in this battered, traumatized family one last run to show why they deserve a happy ending, and then also in giving them one. And it doesn't even think about making its characters and their arcs subservient to furthering the saga's story, and it doesn't waste any time setting up future events, because as far as Gunn and the Guardians are concerned, there are no future events. This is it. And so every minute of these actors' screen time is used to tell their story, to resolve this interstellar saga of creation, destruction, hate, love, ego, and sacrifice, to drag all the pieces in play to their final positions. Comic books might be able to go on more or less indefinitely, but films can't. It takes years and mountains of cash to make one movie, to get 2 or so hours of finished material, to tell one story. Continuing that story takes backers, takes corporate confidence, takes more time and more money, and the actors are people. They have their own desires, they want to do other stuff, and they're always getting older. In this sense, film is a more limited medium than some others, and the way today's comic book movies are resisting that limitation is sometimes interesting, but increasingly it's starting to feel thin, like butter scraped across too much bread. You see, that limitation isn't a bad thing necessarily, because of these limits. Because filmmakers know their stories will end, how they'll end, they're able to make use of all the tools offered by the medium and make every moment count, make sure those final moments make sense and mean something. When all those pieces reach those final positions, when it becomes clear that that's where they're staying, that part of your brain that's been holding off on conclusions, final judgments, that's maintaining an awareness of who the players are, what could come next, what it would mean, and so forth, finally shuts off. The realization that you don't have to interpret provisionally anymore is almost a physical relief. You can just sit for a moment with Peter and his granddad, with Drax and the kids, with Rocket, Groot, and the new recruits. Take it all in and let it all go. Films aren't comic books. They're more limited in some ways and far richer in others. They're different, and at the end of the day, comic book movies are still movies, first and foremost, so maybe embracing that difference, those limitations, is the best way to succeed in projects like this. Across the first 2 Guardians films, in the Suicide Squad 2, but here clearest of all, we see Gunn do just this. It's hard to say just how remarkable this'll seem in a few years' time. I do think that Disney+, the integration of TV into the MCU, had the potential to complicate all this, to really evolve live-action comic book media. Had these projects functioned less as independent stories, more as series-length continuations, elaborations in between Quills, all seamlessly integrated into the big screen offerings, the already simplified dichotomy I've drawn in this video could have really been broken down. Since this hasn't really happened, though, I think we're left with 2 options for the future. Either we'll have the infinity of multiverses, returns, non-conclusive conclusions will continue, The Flash, the new DCU, Secret Wars will come and go, soon enough we'll see our first deep-faked role reprisals, too much bread, too little butter, and so on, or we'll have the finity of Mantis riding off on an obelisk, of Peter and Gamora's last farewell, of this family dancing one last time to Dog Days Are Over. And especially after seeing this film, one of those options looks a lot better to me than the other. Well, that's that. Why drag it out? Thanks for watching. In case you're wondering where I've been, I'm currently working on a super long Moon Knight retrospective, and I have been for a while. I'd guess there's about a week's worth of editing to go, and after that I've got another Good Place video, as well as this month's Patreon-determined project coming. So head over there and join up if you want to throw some suggestions at me, or vote in the imminent poll, and influence what comes out and when on this channel. Big thanks to all of my current patrons, whose names you're seeing now, especially Daniel Goldhorn, Heather Long, Ryan Emily, and Weirdy Beardy, and I'll see you all next time.